So you may have already seen that Homestead-Miami is going to host the final round of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship in 2026, marking its first final season race since 2019. Every single season since then, between 2020 and 2025 this season, have and will be hosted at Phoenix. Now, this is a bit of a nostalgia dive for longtime fans of NASCAR. I've always associated Homestead-Miami with the final round of the season. It feels weird it not being that, but of course it was going to go back to that in November 2026. It has been confirmed. Phoenix will of course also be in the playoffs, but just not the final round in 2026. But what about after that? What's going to happen beyond that? Are we going to see Miami be the permanent home of the playoff final again? Is it a one-off for this season coming up in 2026? Well, no, not quite. NASCAR have unveiled their new rotation model for championship weekends. Now, this is a big change in how the playoffs is run for NASCAR. The playoffs have gone through so many changes, not even been known as the playoffs back in the day. Back in the day when I started to watch NASCAR, they were known as the chase. Now, we've had the playoffs for quite some time now. I think it's been about 10 years or so since they first got introduced in their current format, and they're very controversial. I've already spoken at length about why some people love the playoffs the way they are, but some people hate them. I'm not the biggest fan of them personally. I feel like the old chase format was better. It was not perfect, but it was definitely better than what we have right now, and that's just my opinion. Some people don't disagree, and that's absolutely fine. But basically, NASCAR, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get more in line with other American major sports, such as, of course, the World Series. Obviously got the NBA with their playoffs, their championship, the NFL with their Super Bowl. It's trying to get something on that kind of level. I'll just explain what they've said here. So NASCAR officials have announced a significant change to the format of the championship weekend, with plans to rotate the season-ending events among a select group of tracks beginning in 2026. The new model aims to showcase the championship races at various venues and markets, drawing parallels with other Major League sports such as the Super Bowl, NBA, or MLB All-Star weekends, and of course the NCAA Final Four. Leading this charge in the new era of NASCAR's championship format is Homestead-Miami, which will return as the host of the championship final race in 2026. The 1.5 mile South Florida track previously hosted the season finales between 2002 and 2019 before the event moved to Phoenix for 2020, where it has been held every season since, including this season. Ben Kennedy, the NASCAR Executive Vice President and Chief Venue and Racing Innovation Officer, the man with the largest title in motorsport, explained the rationale behind the rotation model, stating the following: "If you've watched a lot of other sports properties that are moving the location around year after year, part of that is to build up the pent-up demand, but part of it is that variability in a lot of markets, and then a little bit of what we called about as well is just having a bit of differentiation as it relates to the competition and racing products as well. Having the playoffs be more unpredictable every year, the championship venue being at different locations, I think this gives us the ability to see different teams and drivers kind of rise to the occasion to be able to be crowned champion." And there is some logic to that, because effectively what you could argue, you could certainly argue with last season where Joey Logano was, overall in points, if you take all of his points throughout the season, he would have ranked 13th, I think it was, 12th, something like that. Nowhere near the champion, nowhere near the top overall throughout the season, but he was just the fastest on those days when he had to be. He was fastest in the final 16, 12, 8, and the finale as well at Phoenix. And you could argue, rightly, that he was not the fastest driver throughout the season, because he wasn't. He was just the fastest driver at the right times. And if you're wanting to increase that variability, increase the unpredictability of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship, then having it hosted at different venues, I think it's actually a positive move. I do like it. It's a bit different, obviously, but let's talk about soccer, because I'll call it soccer for the purpose of this video, because most of the audience for these are, of course, American. But most of the games of the English national soccer team are played at Wembley Stadium in London, the capital city of England and the UK. But I don't think that's personally a good thing. I would like to see England play at different soccer stadiums around the country, play in different cities, Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle. I'd like to see that more regularly, so that people throughout the country can, of course, see the team more easily. And that's in a relatively small country like England. Scale it up to the United States. I mean, if you're in New York, if you're somewhere in the Northeast, hell, if you're even anywhere near the East Coast, Phoenix is a long way to go. You know, that's what, a 4 or 5 hour plane ride potentially. So it's a long way just for one race. So I think varying it up is good. You obviously have to have it somewhere in the south, because by November time, if you're anywhere near the north of the country, it's going to be snowing potentially. You know, you can't have it in Watkins Glen or somewhere like that. That'd be disastrous. So you're relatively limited in where you could have it, but hell, why not somewhere like Phoenix? Why not somewhere like Miami? Why not somewhere Talladega maybe? You know, it's going to be warm enough there, you would think, down in Alabama. So I would like to see it rotated around. Now, NASCAR have not actually announced where these other venues are going to be. Presumably Miami obviously is one, presumably obviously Phoenix is another, but they haven't announced the others, and the others are all going to be in the south. You can't have them in New Hampshire or somewhere like that, or the Chicago street race in November. It's going to be freezing, so that's not going to happen. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I think in theory this is a good move for NASCAR. I do like the sound of this personally. Daytona 500 for the season finale. Imagine the scenes if you have it Daytona. But hey, it's all possible. It's all possible. That's in a southern state. That's in Florida, just like Miami Homestead is. So your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Let us know your thoughts, what you think about this. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this. And yeah, have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. There's a full article as well, guys. I forgot to mention. Full article over on the motorsportreports.com if you want to check out our full kind of breakdown of this and everything. So yeah, see you soon for much more video content on the world of NASCAR right here on the channel.